But tisk indeed. Okay. Week 8 matchup review. Let's go over it. Our first one, number 25, Nebraska at Minnesota. Nebraska was an 8.5-point favorite. Minnesota mollywops in 24-6.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola looked unbelievably bad this game.
Gophers looked pretty good.
I think Minnesota. I think Minnesota. You would describe them as they always play up to their opponent.
Oh, besides Ohio State.
Yeah, it is. But it is.
Even then, they had one good drive.
Yeah, but I would still say like I think this Nebraska team is very much overrated.
Yeah, Dylan Raiola, I've never been a fan of.
No, I don't like his play style. I think that's very much like it's too inconsistent for me.
But I think the real highlight of the game was Minnesota's running back, Darius Taylor. 24 carries, 148 yards, and a touchdown.
Went absolutely off.
No interceptions on the day? Yeah, no interceptions on the day. But pretty good game for the Gophers. They're 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Yeah. So what's next? We have number 10 LSU at number 17 Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was favored -2.5. They win 31-24.
Good solid win. Brian Kelly is one game away from getting fired. And he may get it this week when we go over our matchups. Like, yeah, they're absolutely done with him. They're making all those petitions for LSU to buy out the rest of his contract. Like, I think Brian Kelly's done. He's also the most overrated coach I've ever seen, too. He had one really good season at Cincinnati, and that somehow got him into 2 great jobs.
Vanderbilt's version of Johnny Manziel, Diego Pavea, 3 all-purpose touchdowns, over 245 all-purpose yards. Guy's an animal.
Seriously. And they played really good against Alabama when they played against them. That goes very much under the radar. That game was a lot closer than people thought, than the score indicated.
That's why they are number 10 in the nation right now. Number 14, Oklahoma took on South Carolina. OU was 5.5-point favorites. They win 26-7.
Yep, it's a good, solid bounce back win for Oklahoma. Oklahoma, it's like I said, John Mateer should have not played against UT. Should it? I think that could have potentially, which it did, hurt his draft stock and his Heisman stock big time. I think he should have not played there. I think Oklahoma, they rushed him way back too soon. South Carolina, I mean, they have a really good quarterback there. He's a good NFL prospect. But
salaries, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of this South Carolina team.
Yeah, that's why they're 3-4. Oklahoma coming up. They got a brutal schedule coming up soon.
They have a really tough schedule.
Got to make the most of it. Number 4, Texas A&M taking on Arkansas and our guy Bobby Petrino.
Oh my God, this was the game. This was the game.
With 7.5-point favorites. They win 45-42. Bobby Petrino made it a game.
Good for Texas A&M. It is one of these trap games. I feel like you're on to the next week.
Anytime you play Arkansas at home, it's a trap.
Well, it's not only that, but it's also you're looking into LSU, right? Like it's one of those games where like it's Arkansas. They fired their head coach. This team got blown out by Notre Dame. Like we should blow them out because they beat Notre Dame. And you're on to LSU, and next thing you know, Bobby Petrino's making it a game. Good win for Texas A&M though.
19-32, 3 touchdowns, 256 yards for Taylor Green. 147 yards on the ground for Mike Washington Jr., the running back.
Yep.
Taylor Green also had 2 touchdowns on the ground. So very good day for him. Marcel Reed, 280, 23 or 32, 3 touchdowns. Also a touchdown on the ground. Ruben Owens, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Really quickly, what is his Heisman odds, Marcel Reed?
I believe he was top 5.
Because like if he runs the table and like wins out the SEC, that is probably a good bet.
Awards, Heisman, 1, 2, 3. He's 5th plus 1,000.
Okay, not a bad bet. If you have $100 to throw away like I do every Sunday, it's not a bad bet.
They could run the table. A&M schedule coming up.
I mean, yeah, because like
at LSU, at Missouri, versus South Carolina, versus Stanford, at Texas. Could happen.
And then the championship game, which would be what? They would be representing
Bama.
it. No, it wouldn't be because Bama's on the same side.
Georgia.
It would be Georgia. Yep. So,
tough matchup.
One, he has the best resume for the Heisman. Look at all the teams he's playing. No, there's no quarterback in the nation that played harder, like against top ranked opponents for that many weeks in a row. One, he's beaten Notre Dame. At that point, what? He would have beaten LSU. He would have beaten Texas. He would have beaten. What else did he have? Which else did you say on there?
Missouri.
Mizzo, who's ranked.
Texas.
And then
there was Stanford.
And then you would have also Georgia in the championship game. So
if they win the SEC, I mean,
he's winning it. He would win it.
And we were not the biggest A&M guys early in the season, but
yeah, because A&M historically always likes to poo-poo the bed. They tend to do that. But in like this would be a game that would be very A&M of them to lose, and they won. So good for them.
Number 5, Ole Miss at number 9, Georgia. Kind of a slugfest, but UGA pulls it out. They were 7-point favorites. They cover 43-35.
Good win for Georgia. Good win. If Ole Miss would have won this game, I'd have been like, this is a dangerous team. They're still a really good team, though. They are. I still think they're a playoff team. But that SEC East, man, or West, is stacked. Alabama, A&M, Ole Miss. Lord have mercy. I don't know. Is Vanderbilt also on the West side?
No, I don't know. Yeah, that's the wrong guy.
But
SEC
like
standings,
because like they are, like it's a lot of good teams. A lot.
Well, it doesn't tell me the divisions. It just tells me.
I think they're probably all the same thing now, which would be great. That means they were taking the top 2 seeded.
Yeah,
they should.
Which would be Bama and A&M.
Yep, which is much better. But like you're looking at that, because if you look at that, right, if they win out, if Ole Miss wins out and Georgia wins out, dude, that's 4 teams from the SEC. You also maybe Vanderbilt too. You could do 5 teams from the SEC going to the playoffs because they would all have 1 wins. But yeah, great win for Georgia, I think. But still, Ole Miss is a very talented team.
Number 7, our game of the week. Number 7, Texas Tech at Arizona State down in Tempe. Texas Tech were 7.5-point favorites. Shout out to your hat.
Yeah, I would say
ASU comes out on top. 26-22. My guys are still in the fight.
It was a game that you needed. If y'all lost this game after losing to Utah, that was a wrap. Then on top of that, for now the Big 12 is unbelievably like a whole bunch of narratives, right? Texas Tech, you got Iowa State, you got BYU, you got Utah in the mix still, you got Arizona State. Like, geez Louise. It's
Houston
too. They only have 1 loss. The path to the championship game is going to be very, very difficult for the Big 12. Same thing with like the SEC. The fact that at this point, because we were texting about this, right? I was like, because we were watching after that, we watched a little bit of the Utah BYU game. And then we were both texting. I was like, Texas Tech is okay with BYU running the table because because I don't know.
I think Arizona State is as well.
Yes. The thing is now you need everybody else to beat each other up. Where I think in Arizona State's defense, you kind of need a lot more to go right in comparison to Texas Tech. But granted, if Arizona State beats Houston, that means both them and Texas Tech have a win over Houston. You need Iowa State to lose again. Granted, they have already 2 losses.
They play BYU this week. Not to skip ahead.
Mm-hmm. Because the last thing we need is BYU to have 1 loss, and now you have all these 1-loss guys, right? Because then you have BYU, you have Texas Tech, you have Utah.
No, Utah's got 2 losses.
2 losses, yeah. Utah will have 2 losses, and then Houston at this moment also as well too. But like I said, I think you need to beat Houston. You're also happy that Houston has only 1 loss too. I would say that's really good for y'all, because that would be with what is it? With like, because you have a relatively comparative opponent with Tech, because I think that's what's ultimately going to come down to is like, what hairs are we splitting? Like, okay, Arizona State beat Texas Tech, but Texas Tech beat Utah, and Utah beat Arizona State. Well,
so
then,
I think the easiest path is to have Utah lose another one.
Yes, Utah needs to lose another one.
Houston losing this week. We don't want to skip ahead, but they're playing Arizona State.
You would need to win this game. Yep, and Tech
and Iowa State needs to lose so they can lose again to Arizona State
and be completely out of the picture. Yep.
So we're gonna have a little bit more clarity coming out of next week.
It's gonna be BYU versus somebody, and I think
best case scenario.
And I also think that you're only taking 1 team from the Big 12 to the playoffs. That's the unfortunate part, is that the loser, the only way is if BYU goes undefeated and Texas Tech beats BYU, that you would consider 2 teams from the Big 12.
And then I would think that that's pretty slim.
Exactly. Because how much are you? Because 1, nobody's watching BYU games at that time. Then same thing with like, I really do think it's just the Big 12 is going to be the what would you call it? The conference that gets screwed over the most in the playoffs this year.
God, just thinking about Arizona State's season again. I don't want to skip ahead because we'll talk about it again. But God, that Mississippi State loss is just hanging over their head.
Yeah, I mean, but also losing Sam Lip. I don't know, because even if I saw that Utah game.
I don't know if they would have won that with Sam Leavitt, because Sam Leavitt played this week and he wasn't 100% healthy.
Mm-hmm. And also Tech played without their starting quarterback this week too.
If they beat Mississippi State, this is a totally different conversation.
Yeah, or if they've looked really nice, like it's still. I mean, you still have offensive line concerns, man. Like it's, you're out.
It's the 2-loss thing.
Yeah, but
if that was 1 loss instead of 2.
Yeah, but you're going to need to beat Houston. It's game by game for y'all. It's literally game by game for y'all. And then come at the end of the season, you're praying and hoping that Tech and Utah, well, not Utah, Utah's already lost, but like playing that Tech loses 1 more game.
What's the path to that? BYU.
And then if Tech beats BYU, that's a wrap, I think.
Unless BYU loses down the stretch.
Which I don't know. They're true freshman quarterback.
Cincinnati and TCU.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
But what if I'm just like planning out these things in my head? Iowa State's already got 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
What if they beat BYU this week?
It's a tall task.
Then they lose to Arizona State.
So you're saying Arizona State wins out. BYU only has 1 loss, and they lost to Iowa State. Iowa State's already relatively eliminated because they have 2 losses in the conference. Then you have a whole bunch of teams with 1 losses on there. And then now you play a game of what if. But then if Texas Tech beats BYU, you have to go against head-to-head matchups. So now So then you would look at, okay, you're not going to repeat the championship. So that means Tech is not going to play BYU in the championship game. Then you go, okay, is Tech going to play Utah again in the championship game? No, because they already have 2 losses in the conference as well, too.
And there's a path for another with Cincinnati and
Baylor.
So
essentially, no, they are the ones asking for the most amount of help.
Utah?
No, any team that isn't Arizona State, Texas Tech, Utah, or BYU.
Cincinnati. They're 4-0.
Yeah, but they're 4-0 in the division in their conference. Okay, so that means
their only loss is Nebraska.
Now we're playing with fire. That means Tech needs to beat BYU, and then Tech is in the conversation.
And we still have fucking Houston lingering around.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
It's so messy.
So you would need Tech for Arizona State to have a conversation. Arizona State needs to win out. Cincinnati needs to lose a game, and Tech needs to beat BYU. And then BYU also has to lose.
And then there's
Iowa State.
A bunch of one-loss teams.
Yep, it's a bunch of one-loss teams. And then now you're just like, okay, we're gonna.
Hopefully, the recency bias helped.
No, because they would take Tech over y'all. That's the thing. It's that one preseason wise, Tech has been ranked higher.
So the head-to-head matchup didn't matter.
It did matter, but at the same time, if you're going to take the one loss, you're going to take the team that's ranked higher. And the difference was Tech looked better against Utah than y'all did.
It all depends. Is the path easier if there's a bunch of one-loss teams, or is the path easier if it's BYU undefeated? You guys have 2 losses. Cincinnati has a loss because they play BYU.
For Arizona State has to win out off the rip.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. You need to have common opponent wins. You have to have better than Tech. So that means we blew out Houston at Houston.
So we got to do the same.
But you're at home, so that's but you have to still blow them out. You have to beat them by 30?
I don't know if that game, but
because if that game is close, what the committee would do essentially is Tech blew out Utah, or Tech beat Utah, which Utah beat Arizona State, and Tech beat the brakes out of Houston, and Arizona State barely beat them. Let's say you win by 10. So in the eyes of the committee, they would rather have Tech, were ranked higher, at one point was a top 10 ranked team, go against an undefeated BYU team, because if Tech wins and they beat an undefeated BYU team at 1 loss, that looks good for the Big 12 in the playoff picture. Where Arizona State lost to Mississippi State, lost to Utah handedly. Both you lost to Utah handedly. Unfortunately,
yeah, Mississippi State was close.
So if Arizona State were to go to BYU, go to the championship to play BYU, and they win BYU, you now have a 2-loss team in the playoffs. What ends up happening is, how many 1-loss SEC schools are going to be pissed that they didn't get in because Arizona State went in?
And we're having the same conversation we had last year on the Beatcast.
Yep. I'm telling you, and so that's what I'm saying about why them losing to Mississippi State is hard.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be judged on winning against Texas Tech. You're now getting judged on common opponents. And then on top of that, that's kind of a fair misrepresentation of y'all's team, right? Because you're like, hey, we beat the number 7 team in the nation at the time. And then they're like, yeah, but
you got your ass kicked by Utah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got your ass, whether or not Sam Levitt was going to be on there, that was an ass whooping. And then they feel like, well, who do we feel like has a better chance of beating BYU?
Tech.
What? Because
Tech on paper, for sure.
And where this all stems from, the reason why we have the playoffs and the reason why we have this parity that is in the Big 12 and why they want to choose the best team to represent them is 2 games. LSU Alabama national championship game, because that's a big reason why we had the playoffs. That was one of the worst the championship games of all time. LSU, that game was not even competitive for LSU. And it was also one of the lower rated championship games of all time because it was a rematch for the it was for the second time that year. And then the first game sucked. It was 6-3 win for LSU. The second game that's important is the whole Florida State thing. Remember them going undefeated and they were playing their 3rd string quarterback, and then their team just straight up quit. They didn't want to play in the bowl game because they didn't go to the playoffs. It is very much what team best represents this product to go to the playoffs. So for like Arizona State, let's just say you get in. Let's just say we're going to play devil's advocate. Y'all win out. Y'all win. Y'all beat BYU. And you are ranked in the you would not even be higher than 11 or 12.
Yeah,
probably.
you'd be right in. Yeah.
So you are number 12, meaning you are playing a significant opponent. We're talking Alabama. We're talking Vanderbilt possibly.
Is it 3 or 4?
Because the number the number 1 and 2 overall get buys? 1, 2, 3, and 4 get buys. So that no, because y'all won the Big 12, so that means y'all get a bye automatically, right?
No, not. I don't think we got a bye last year. I think we still had to play the Sugar Bowl against Texas.
No, because that was the semifinal, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was a quarter. You're absolutely right.
Because they expanded the playoff bracket this year, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. So that means even if y'all won the championship, y'all are not getting a bye. Because what? You sure? Last year did Arizona State get a bye?
I don't think so.
And if they expanded
they did because Texas played Clemson.
Yes. So y'all did get a bye. So okay, if you win out, win the Big 12,
we got the bye as number 12.
You get a bye week technically they would put you at number 4, technically, because you would, but you are the worst champion out of everybody. And then
it's kind of disrespectful that Boise State was ranked higher than Arizona State last year, but
regardless, so now you're playing against a really good team off that bye. And
which is what happened last year against Texas.
But y'all teams this year is getting mollywopped by any team.
True.
So that's why I think the committee, I really do think, for the Big 12, they want Texas Tech to win out. I think Texas Tech has the best chance to represent the Big 12 the best in the playoffs, where, they just need Morton back. But if BYU wins, credit where credit is due for BYU, and a true freshman quarterback wearing number 47 also. It's not saying that, Arizona, remember, I was high on them too, dumb and Tech to be 1 and 2 for the Big 12. But it's just their offensive line, bro. God damn, can you imagine them going against Alabama? It's going to be like a Washington versus
against Mississippi State. So
exactly. So it's just kind of what type of product are we seeing? It is possible. All of this is possible, but I don't know how possible.
I'm glad we got a little bit of a mini video in there.
Well, just to say to the Big 12, I think the Big 12 is going underrated for how competitive it actually is this year.
It's going to be the most fun conference down the stretch.
It is. It literally, there's going to be so much parity by the last 2 weeks of the season.
All right, let's get back to the recaps. We're almost done. Number 11, Tennessee at number 6, Alabama. Bama wins 37-20.
Yep. Morgan Wallen's probably upset, but it's okay.
And Jelly.
It's a really, really good Alabama team. Seriously, they are a really good team.
Number 20, USC at number 13, Notre Dame. ND wins 34-24.
The issue that I have with this game, and we talked about this, how in the hell is Michigan ranked but USC is not? I'm not understanding this logic. I am not understanding. I'm so done with the rank. This year has proven to me that rankings are so dumb. I do not know who the AP poll is. I do not know who runs the AP poll. Stop it. It's annoying. It's absolutely annoying. The preseason rankings were dumb as shit. These rankings are dumb as shit. How is USC only lost to Notre Dame by 10 points, barely loses to a ranked Illinois team? They're unranked, but mollywop Michigan significantly, and yet they're ranked. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm okay with USC being in the 20s. I'm okay with them being unranked if Michigan's unranked. I'm not okay that we beat the brakes off that team and we're unranked, but they are.
Well, Utah probably feels the same way about Arizona State.
to an extent, right? Like, because Utah, what? They lost to Tech and they lost to BYU. So they lost their only 2 losses to 2 teams combined with 1 loss. So they should feel like, which is true. I think Utah should be ranked ahead of Arizona State or within the same realm, right? But and same thing with Houston. I think Houston's low-key getting disrespected by not being ranked.
Mm.
I think Houston should be ranked higher than Arizona State. And I'm saying that to help y'all out. The fact that if they were ranked,
seriously, if they were ranked and Arizona State wins this week and hopefully blowout fashion.
Yeah, because that would be back-to-back ranked wins for Arizona State.
Then they're right back up into the low teens.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm not under this USC this year has to me been disrespected ranking wise. I've not understood. So they lost to a ranked opponent in Illinois and they barely lose it, and USC's just unranked. USC mollywops an overrated Michigan team that was ranked 15th in the nation. And because also if you look at it, right, because you're going to look back in hindsight, oh, Michigan lost to an unranked USC team. Like, that's not good on the resume. Because also, if Michigan beats out Ohio State, well, they just lost to Michigan, and Michigan lost to an unranked team. And Michigan beat Nebraska. Nebraska straight up sucks. So what does that mean for Ohio State? You see, now we're playing
Minnesota wins the Big Ten.
You see what I'm saying? We are now into what the fuck does all this mean? You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we on about at this point? Like, okay, Oregon had a really good win at Penn State on a whiteout game, but then Penn State is a fraud because they lost to UCLA.
Penn State turns out to suck.
And then,
then Oregon loses to
Oregon loses to Indiana, and Indiana beat them handedly. So that does mean that Indiana's really the number 2 to 3 ranked team in the nation. I don't know. Like, you see what I'm saying? What are we like? For instance, like the whole Ohio State thing that I'm on. Ohio State barely beat UT. Barely beat UT. UT can't beat anybody unless they are like Sam Houston State. So what does that mean for Ohio State? Does that mean Ohio State would lose or be competitive against Florida, who just fired their coach? Does that mean, like, I don't know.
Ohio State has the bye this week, so
yeah,
no tough competition there.
So that's my whole rant about the rankings. I just don't understand.
They play Penn State next week.
I just don't. I really don't. Penn State's winning, by the way. They have it's new team, new vibe. Who dis? If Penn State wins that game, by the way, Ohio State should be unranked.
They won't be, but
they won't. They'll probably make them number 1 still.
I don't know about that, but
no, but and especially for you, right? Coming into college football this year, how confusing is that shit?
A little bit.
Like, you're just like, I don't.
I'm understanding it a little more now. Like, if you told me about this last year, I would have been very confused.
You would be like, what? I'm not understanding this, because a team is going to get fucked over in the playoffs. You like imagine, for instance,
I don't even think Arizona State is in the fucked over class. I think it's imagine happy to be their class.
So imagine if you were a 1-loss team, Arizona State, and you lose to an undefeated BYU team, and you're 2 losses, and you're in this group of 2-loss teams, and let's just say that's you. Let's just say that's like these other teams, and then this other 2-loss team gets into the playoffs, but y'all, like, you lost to a championship in BYU. How pissed would you be? You'd be like last year, Ole Miss missing out in the playoffs. Like, they're like, bro, what the fuck am I playing for then? That's what I'm thinking. I always say, becoming a new college football fan when you're not going to these schools as like alumni, like, is so confusing and annoying. But once you commit, it is absolutely fun.
You're not getting me off of the Arizona State bandwagon anytime soon. It's a good vibe.